everyone, welcome to Nina Cucina. Today I am making my zucchini boats filled with sun-dried tomato pesto stuffing. They are delicious and it's a great way to get vegetables into your family. Everybody loves these. They have a real Italian flavor and they're dead easy to make. Let me tell you what I've got here and we can get started with them right away. I've got about a 1/4 cup of almond flour. You could also use another nut flour if you prefer, walnut flour if you'd like, it also is nice. But I chose almond flour for today. I've got about a 1/4 cup of sun-dried tomatoes that were packed in oil. This is going to chop down this basil to about a 1/4 cup of basil, and fresh ground pepper, a little sea salt, and some minced garlic. Now here I have some white wine and I'm just going to pour this in the bottom of the baking dish just to give it a nice flavor and kind of steam the zucchini some. All right, here we have the zucchini. I will show you how we're going to handle this and turn them into great boats. Let's start by cutting off the ends. Just dump those into the garbage can. Now I've chosen nice big fat zucchini. You can also do thinner ones, whatever you find in the supermarket that's organic and fresh. Now, this is going to serve 6 people. Everybody is going to get a boat, and believe me, they're big, so everyone will be really satisfied. Slice them in half lengthwise. Look at the size of those guys. They're huge. Okay, now you can see that they're a little bit roly-poly, so what I like to do to remedy that is I just take a little slice off the bottom and make it flat. And now it's nice and stable. Got to have a stable hull for your boat. Into the garbage can. I love keeping a garbage can really close to my work surface. Just makes it easy on me. But if you don't have that, just use a garbage bowl. Perfect. Now what we're going to do is we're going to, with a grapefruit knife, I'm going to run the grapefruit knife around the seed section. Now you want to be careful not to go too deep because you don't want to prick the bottom of your boat. Just like that. And now I'm going to do some cross slices to make it easier on myself to get the flesh out of the zucchini boat. Just like with anything, when you make a big job a little smaller, it usually goes a lot more quickly. Now I'm just going to take my spoon and wiggle it a little bit, and you can just see that that piece of zucchini came right out. Just keep your grapefruit spoon moving. Now I have done this with a regular spoon too, but I will admit to you that a grapefruit spoon is a lot easier because of the little knife at the end there. Just give it a little scrape. You can see that this goes very easily. Now, there is the last one. Now we've got 6 nice cleaned out zucchini boats. I'm going to give my basil a little bit of a chop just to get things started for my food processor. It's my favorite herb, so just going to run my knife through it, just a tad, not too much. There you go. Now, sun-dried tomatoes have all of the concentrated antioxidants in them. They're extremely good for you. But as they dry, their skins get a little tough, so you have to really move your knife back and forth to get them just a little bit chopped up. And I adore them. I can eat them straight out of the jar. They're so flavorful. All right, got that chopped up. I'm going to go ahead and put these back into my bowl. It'll just make it a little bit more, little less clumsy when I'm putting stuff into the food processor. Let's start with the almond flour. And then we will do our sun-dried tomatoes. And I'm just going to scrape this beautiful fragrant basil right into the food processor. Now, let's just lock it down and turn it on. I'm going to get it a little spin before I salt and pepper, just to get things mixed about. Perfect. That smells so good coming out of that food processor. I can really smell the sun-dried tomatoes and the basil. It's just lovely. Now, I've come down to about 20 grinds of black pepper. I counted once, and the dish was perfect, so that's what I've stuck with. And about a half a teaspoon of sea salt. You really don't need very much. And a little bit of garlic, about a teaspoon or so. And let's get that well mixed together. I'm going to give it one little scrape down, just to make sure that all the garlic is thoroughly mixed and my salt is all the way through. And of course, my pepper. There we go, perfect. Now, I'm just going to remove the bowl. And I'm going to use the same grapefruit spoon, just saves me dish time later. I'm going to carefully take that sharp blade out of there, scraping it down, set it out of my way so I don't cut myself. Now, I'm just going to fill each bowl, little boat here. You don't have to overfill them. Go across the entire 6 once, and then you can always top off. And I just like to spread the mixture out kind of flat. Now, this really is luscious tasting, and it almost tastes like it has cheese in it, but it doesn't, as you can see. No dairy here, totally gluten-free. Oh, this is one of my faves. Now I have all 6 of my boats filled, so I'm just going to place them in my baking dish. This is just good old Pyrex, guys, nothing fancy. Just line them up like soldiers, squish them in. Perfect fit. Ooh, and they're big ones too. Oh, I'm excited. All right, now I've got about a half a cup of white wine. I'm just going to carefully pour that in. You could use water or vegetable broth, whatever your preference is. I love the flavor of a nice wine in it. And now I'm just going to cover it with a little bit of parchment paper and then a piece of tin foil. Now the reason I do the parchment paper first is I don't want to have I don't like tin next to my food, guys. Tin is not, really to be messed with too much, so I always like to line things in parchment paper. Then you don't get a metallic flavor. You're ensured of having none, to put it that way. Now this we're going to just pop into a preheated 425-degree oven for about 15 minutes. Ooh, that is fragrant. I can smell that wine just wafting up from underneath that tin foil. Now we're going to take this top off very, very carefully because it is absolutely steaming hot. Just start with one little corner, then another little corner, and just let that steam come out, because there's nothing more painful in the world than a burn from steam. Oh, just really smarts. Get rid of that tin foil. Oh, they just look absolutely stunning. Now, let's get them onto our platter. I've pulled out some curly parsley just to decorate this platter. When I have guests around, I love to decorate the plate with just a little bit of green, just to make things a little special. Let people know that you appreciate that they've come by and joined you for dinner. Oh, they just smell delish. You can really smell the wine. You can smell the sun-dried tomatoes. That basil is just wafting through the air. And you can see that they're just absolutely steaming hot. Put one on each side here. Last one. I'm just going to take a few pieces of parsley and just kind of randomly toss them around the plate just to give a little bit of curl and whirl here. Now that's something I can present to my guests. They're delicious, they're nutritious, they're filled with flavor, and my guests are just going to love them. Thanks for joining me today at Nina Cucina. I'll see you next time.